I'm Dr. John Demartini, and we have a brief presentation to give, or I give you a great, I give you time for a great, start over. Just a second, Jock. Let me start it over. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Dr. Demartini. Every week I share a little vignette, a presentation on various topics. And this particular topic is getting what you want. Pardon me, John, can you stop it? Okay, I guess we're live. I got bloopers and blunders this morning. Let's try it again. Good morning, afternoon, evening. I'm Dr. John Demartini. This is what happens sometimes when you do live presentations. My topic today, as I do each week, is on increasing your deserve level and helping yourself get what you want in life. So if you have something to write with and write on pencil or paper or something to type on, that would be great. I was hoping he would start the thing over, but so we'll have some glitches on this, but that's the way it is. Every human being lives moment by moment by a set of priorities, set of values, things that are most to least important in their life. And you've heard me say that on many of my presentations because the very foundation of all human behavior is our human value systems. This set of priorities, this hierarchy of values is completely unique. None of us have the same exact set. And whatever's highest on the values, you have an intrinsic yearning, a spontaneous acting to fulfill it. You don't require motivation on the outside or some sort of extrinsic drive to get you to do it. You just spontaneously do it. I spontaneously love teaching. I do it every day. But whatever's low on your values, you require motivation to do. Some sort of reward to do it or punishment if you don't. Just like a young boy who loves his video games, he spontaneously does his video games. He doesn't have to have his mother say, Johnny, now do your video games. But she will have to give him some sort of reward to do his homework, punishment if he doesn't do it. You won't be able to play the games unless you finish it. And when you do, you get to play your games, video games. And so you need external motivation. If you need external motivation to do what you say is important, it's not important. Motivation is a symptom, never a solution for mastery. Now, every time you do something that's high in your value, your self-worth goes up. And every time you do something low in your value, your self-worth goes down. And the reason that's the case is because our life offers us feedback anytime we're not authentic. And our identity revolves around what we value most. Our ontological identity revolves around our very highest value. And things that are lower in our values, we don't want to be known for. My lower values are like cooking and driving. I don't do that. I don't want to be known as a cook or a driver, but I don't mind being considered a teacher because my highest value is teaching. So whatever is high in your value, your identity revolves around. It's your authentic pursuit, your authentic self. Know thyself, be thyself, love thyself. And whenever you're doing something high in your values, your self-worth goes up because you're living authentically. And anytime you're living by lower values and not delegating those things, you're devaluing yourself. And the reason why you devalue yourself is not a flaw, not a weakness, not something you need to fix, just something you need to learn as a feedback to let you know you're not authentic. You're doing lower priority stuff. And it's attempting to get you to do higher priority stuff. And the moment you do, you feel greater about yourself. Anytime you have an agenda for the day that's prioritized and is congruent with what you value and you stick to it and you do the highest priority things and check them off as they go and don't allow distractions and putting out fires distract you from the day, at the end of the day, you're on top of the world. You feel empowered and you're more resilient and adaptable and wake up more of a vision for new possibilities. But the second you're doing low priority things and let the external world influence you, because everybody's projecting their values onto you to get you to do what they think is important and distracting you from what's important for you. The moment you end up doing that, you devalue yourself, and you're designed to, because you're not being authentic. You're not doing what's really meaningful to you in a way that serves people. You're not here to sacrifice for people. You're here to serve people. You serve people by doing what's really most important to you, that is inspiring to you, that you can't wait to get up in the morning and do, that you tap dance to work, as Buffett says, towards doing it in a way that serves people, that contributes and fulfills the values of other people and solves problems for other people. And the moment you do, you're rewarded financially and fulfillment well. But the second you do low priority things and sacrifice, you'll depreciate. And that depreciation's nothing but a feedback mechanism to let you know you're not being authentic. You're not being yourself. Every symptom in your life is guiding you to authenticity. And authenticity is an expression of what you value most. So if you want to get what you want in life, you need to clearly define what your values are, what's priority, and identify the highest priority actions that will lead to it, either through your own learning or through mentorship, and stick to it. It's not that really difficult. We make it more complex than it really is. It's about sticking to priority. And every time you delegate lower priority things and give job opportunities to other people who would love to do those things, it's high on their values. You raise the overall energy and vitality of your enterprise. You liberate yourself onto doing the things that are most important, that makes you feel more self-worth. And you achieve more. You get what you want in life. It's really quite interesting, because now you're striving for that which is truly meaningful to you. And now you're doing what's really priority to you, which is what you want in life. Many years ago, I did a little exercise where I looked at what was the priorities of the priorities of the priorities of my life, and I narrowed it down to basically teaching, researching, and writing. And I've delegated the rest away. And I stick to those things that is my core competence, that I love doing, that I'm inspired by, and excel in that area and make a contribution. And I have the responsibility to make a contribution and be of service to people with that knowledge. If I go study something that has no value to anybody else, then I will not be able to create a sustainable, fair exchange that'll remunerate me in a compensatory manner that allows me to delegate and free me up to do what inspires me every day, to self-actualize and exemplify that possibility. So giving yourself permission to shine, not shrink, and to expand, not contract, by living by priority, not lower priority, high priority, not lower priority, and being authentic, not inauthentic, shows the way, builds the way. Now you're allowing original thinking to come through you, because your highest value is where you're intrinsic. Most people live borrowing their vision from other people, living by convention, tradition, and mores of others, mothers, fathers, preachers, teachers, some sort of social group around them, and they don't give themselves permission to be original thinking. And original thinking, creativity, genius is born when you live by your highest values. And the second you don't, you automatically have less confidence, and you end up offloading decisions to other people, fitting into the herd, fearing rejection, fearing banishment from the group, and you lose your identity fitting in. You're not going to make a difference fitting in. You're going to make a difference standing out. And you're going to stand out by living by your unique hierarchy of values, particularly your highest, which is a unique path of you. And your highest value is the most efficient, effective pathway to fulfill the greatest amount of voids that feel empty in your life, or the greatest amount of value that feels fulfilled in life. Fulfilling what's most meaningful, most important, most inspiring, your highest value is the master of life. So if we go along in life and we're holding ourselves back by trying to do low priority things, it's not going to lead us to the greatest opportunities in life. Now, what's interesting is the moment you work with the highest priorities and fulfill the highest priorities in your life, the way your brain is set up, it is a highest priority, highest value seeking organ and fulfilling organ. Your brain literally takes all the sensory infinitude that's around you and filters out of that infinitude of information the selectively biased information that allows you to maximize your potential according to what you value most. So if you don't know what your highest values are and you're not focusing on the highest values, you're not going to grasp the greatest amount of most efficient information that's synchronously and naturally right for you to fulfill your goals. And you're overwhelmed and scattered and distracted and extrinsically run. Therefore, if you're not prioritizing your life. Now that leads to the idea of how do you determine what's priority? Well, you got two fractions that are involved in prioritization. You've got a self and another. The self is actually identifying what's really highest in your priority. And the other is really what's highest in priority of the greatest number of people you want to serve. Because I don't know about you, but if you look carefully at your life, I'll bet you will know that the moment you've done something that's contributed to other people's lives, you have the most fulfillment. Doing something you're inspired to do and doing something that fulfills the values of others is the most fulfilling thing that human beings can do. I believe we have a sensory cortex for receiving rewards in life and a motor cortex for giving service in life. And when we're using those synchronously in the most balanced manner, we have the most fulfilling, and our self-worth is at the highest and the most fulfillment in life. So first, let's take your own self-valuation. And that is basically, if you go on my website, drdemartini.com, and you do the value determination process, which is a 13-step questionnaire process to help you determine what's really important to you, what your life demonstrates. If you ask people what their values are, I guarantee you most people will give you social idealisms that have been injected from outside sources that they've been subordinating to, instead of actually really, truly what value, the things that they value in their life. I want to make sure that you are really doing something in life that is really valuable to you and not assuming it is. I'm amazed how many people actually tell me things are important, but then their life doesn't demonstrate it. And that's a kind of a moral hypocrisy that you live. I'm not interested in your hypocrisies. I'm interested in your fulfillment in life. And that's why I asked you to go on my website, ask you to do that. Go on the website, go to the value determination or determine your values section. Take 30 minutes of your time to answer these questions very thoroughly. Then don't write down delusions. Don't write down fantasy. Don't write down what you think the answers ought to be or should be or supposed to be according to what expectations other people project. I want you to go and actually look at what your life demonstrates. Your life demonstrates what you value. Every decision you make is based on what you believe will give you the greatest advantage or disadvantage at any moment in time. Conscious or unconscious, you're living according to values, but many people are fantasizing about doing something else and then beating themselves up and not appreciating themselves because they think it should be something else. You don't make mistakes in your own values. You only make a mistake when you compare your actions to other people's values, and other people don't make a mistake except when you project your values on them and expect them to live in your values. They can't live in your values. You're not going to live in other people's values. You make decisions according to your own values. If you don't know what they are, you're not going to have the greatest achievement and the greatest fulfillment and the greatest self-worth and get what you want in life because you're not even going to know what it is. You're going to swear at something. I have people at seminars all the time going, when I ask them how many want to be financially independent, they put their hand up, and then what their life demonstrates is they're buying consumables that depreciate in value, and they never actually buy assets that appreciate in value, and they never get ahead, and they're working their whole life for money as a slave instead of a master having money work for them. And so what happens is we're basically thinking we want financial independence, but what we really want is a lifestyles of the rich and famous for the immediate gratification and consumables and clutter our house with a bunch of crap, instead of actually buying true companies that are assets that actually give you returns on your investment, an ROI, and it gives you passive income. So you're not having to work. You're only working because you love to work because you got a passive income. So people have this fantasy that they want that, and they don't look at what their values are. So please go online to my website and take advantage of this complimentary, free, private little exercise that can help you transcend the falseness that you give yourself on what's important. Because if you're going after things that you think are important and they're not really important, you're going to self-depreciate because it's not really highest on your values. And anytime you try to do something that's lower on your values, not the highest, you're devaluing. Don't waste your time on things that aren't highest on your values. You know, when the movie came out, The Secret, many years ago, 16 or so years ago, when I was filming for that, I made comments. It didn't get included in the movie, but I made many, many comments over and over again about don't waste your time on things that aren't important to you. The secret behind the secret that's left out of the secret many times is don't waste your time on things that aren't truly the most important things in your life. Filling your day with things that are most important is what makes you a very important person, a VIP, a visionary and inspired, powerful individual. Your self-worth skyrockets the second you do. So go online, do the value determination, take a look at that, and know that that's the only thing you're reliable, disciplined, and focused on doing, whatever's highest on your value. That's the thing that you will not betray yourself on. That's the thing, if you pursue it and take actions that fulfill that, prioritize actions every day to fulfill that, your self-worth is going to go up, your deserve level is going to go up, your achievements are going to go up, you're going to walk your talk, you're going to wake up a leadership, you're going to expand your vision, you're going to be an inspiring exemplifier for others, you're going to end up having people wanting to know how you're doing what you're doing, and you're going to have opportunities for people to help you fulfill a vision. For the last 33 plus years, I've been teaching a program called the Breakthrough Experience. The objective of that, one of the objectives, I wouldn't say the only objective, but one of the objectives of that program is what I'm talking about. Helping people break through the boundaries and limitations they're imposing on themselves because of subordination to outer influences and outer values and authorities that inject the values and all the expectations of trying to fit in instead of stand out. And all those so-called, they've been labeled limiting beliefs or sabotages, are nothing more than the subordination to outer authorities and not being clear about what you're really inspired by. So the Breakthrough Experience, I'm dedicated to helping you find out what that is and start to structure your life so everything is on the way, not in the way. So you're basically mastering your life, not staying victim of history all your life. Because every time you're not doing something that's really most meaningful and inspiring and priority to you, you're going to end up creating symptoms and signs in your physiology, psychology, sociology, and even theology. You're going to have feedbacks from those systems automatically kicking your butt to try to get you to be authentic. You want to be loved and appreciated for who you are. How are you going to be loved and appreciated for who you are if you're not being who you are? And every time you're not living by your highest priority, you go and you get blood glucose knocks into the amygdala, not the executive center. And the amygdala is involving in, avoiding a pain, seeking a pleasure, avoiding a predator, seeking a prey, instincts, impulses, distractions. And you're vulnerable to anything you infatuate or resent out there. And therefore, all your philias and phobias and fantasies and nightmares distract your presence and purpose from being empowered. In the Breakthrough Experience, I've developed a Demartini method to dissolve those distractions and a value application system to concentrate you on what's priority and to show you how to release the lower priority things, to raise your self-worth and delegate that so you're not doing low priority things and devaluing yourself. You're getting on with what's really meaningful, so you can't wait to get up in the morning and be of service to people. The great book of Wealth said that the wealthiest individuals were the individuals that felt called by divine providence and human sovereignty to serve vast numbers of people. And the people I find that serve vast numbers of people who are living congruently by their highest value, they're philanthropic, they're inspired by some sort of massive contribution. I just finished writing an article for Jet Set magazine that's coming out on the significance of patience and perseverance towards long-term objectives instead of immediate gratification. Whenever you're living by highest values and you're raising your self-worth and raising your deserve level, you're thinking long-term, you're not looking for immediate gratification. When you're unfulfilled, you look for immediate gratification. Anytime you're pursuing impulsive, compulsive, immediate gratifying, addictive personalities, and you're addicted to shopping, addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to porn, or addicted to anything, that's because you're not filling your day with the very highest priority, most meaningful things that serve people. It's normal to have those responses, and those are basically there to bang your head against the wall and frustrate you and burn you out enough to finally get back onto what's true for you. That's why I have people come to the breakthrough experience to break through any mild or moderate or severe degree of that illusion so they can get on with what's really important in their life. I've watched thousands of people transform their lives by following the principles and the methods that'll stand the test of time according to priority of values. And when I created the Demartini method on how to dissolve all the distractions and emotions that weigh you down, all the emotional baggage that made you age. Every time you have an imbalanced perspective that you're infatuated with something or resentful to something, seeking something or avoiding something, fantasies, nightmares, impulses, instincts, philias, phobias, anytime you're polarized with emotions, you're adding space and time to the mind. And when you do, you undergo entropy and breakdown and symptomatology and death physics to create symptoms to let you know this isn't you. But what's happened is we get so inundated by the opium of the masses about life's supposed to be positive without negative and happy without sad and kind without cruel that we get addicted to the impulses and subjected from the instincts and try to live in our amygdala, which is futile and eventually animalistic and eventually wears us down and ages us to create symptoms to try to let us know that wasn't the path. But you don't want to, you want to gain the wisdom of the age without the aging process instead of learning it through the aging process. And the wisdom of the ages is live by priority. I guarantee that makes a huge difference in your life. That's why taking the time to do the Demartini value determination process and coming to the breakthrough experience to save you enormous amounts of time. Enormous amounts of time. I just did the breakthrough experience this weekend, and I asked people, how many of you learned something this weekend that you could have gone your entire life, and if you hadn't have been here, you would not have learned this? Every hand went up. Because there's so much, Paul Dirac, the Nobel Prize winner, says it's not that we don't know so much, we know so much that isn't so. There's so much misinformation, so much subjective bias, so much distortion of information out there, so many bias, so many sales gimmicks, so many opiums out there that very seldom do you actually get a morsel of truth, a morsel of wisdom that will stand the test of time, that will help you guide your life intrinsically to something meaningful that's philanthropic, that actually gives you a fulfillment in life. And that's why values are so important. That's why prioritizing is so important. That's why you're raising your deserve level by doing that. Because I guarantee you, the moment you do something as priority, your self-worth goes up. The moment your deserve level goes up. And when your deserve level goes up, so does your willingness to receive opportunities. So does your willingness to receive income. So does your willingness to receive the relationship you want. That in all areas of your life, you're willing to receive. In fact, the number one thing that stops people from receiving is shame and guilt. And that is a byproduct of subordinating to other people and trying to be somebody you're not and beating yourself up going, what's wrong with me? Why am I keep sabotaging? You're not sabotaging. You're actually getting exactly the necessary feedback to let you know you're pursuing something that's not you. Every week when I'm doing consulting with people and in the breakthrough experience, I see people that are coming in there who think they think they know what they're up to, but then when they look at their life, there's incongruency. If there's no congruency, there's no fluency, there's no spontaneity, there's no inspiration, there's no synchronicities in life. And they discover something, there's an aha, they break through it. I think that's why I call it the breakthrough experience, because people break through the illusions that they're running in their life and give themselves permission to do it. Just this weekend, I had a number of the people that are on there going, whoa, I blew my mind. I just learned something here. I just popped a big fantasy. And, it's quite amazing. There was a gentleman this weekend, a lovely gentleman there, who asked me about financial independence. And he was taking his money and investing it back in his business and spending it on his lifestyle. And they thought, well, the more money I make, then I'll be financially independent somehow. But people don't realize that if the hierarchy of their values dictates their destiny and dictates how they manage their money. And if they don't have the values on buying assets and appreciating long-term, asset accumulation, there's never going to be money made for them passively. It's always going to be working for it. And you'll be working on it. And every year you go doing that, is a year against compound interest you could be using to grow to the eighth wonder of the world that Einstein called. So if you don't know what your values are and you live in a fantasy that you want to be financially independent some miraculous way, and you don't really have the science that leads to financial independence, you're probably going to be banging your head against the wall and wondering why it's not working. And there are people that make millions and millions of dollars. You know, Nicolas Cage, I was reading an article on him last night. Nicolas Cage has made $150+ million, more than that, $200 million. And he was bankrupt nearly. And now he's back up to about 25 million, but he had spent it and overspent his money. See, it's not how much, you make, it's how much you keep. And if it's how much it's working for you. And that's what your deserve level is. If you're not feeling deserving, you won't keep it, because you'll think that buying, high-priced consumable items over by these other brands that have some sort of value out there, thinking that's going to make you feel good, but that's transient at best. You don't want to live vicariously through other people's brands. You want to build a brand around your own life that serves, that gets paid for. That's what I teach people in the breakthrough, to give yourself permission to shine, not shrink, and to not live in the shadows of people, but to stand on the shoulders of giants and own the traits of the greats and realize nothing's missing in you, and give yourself permission to go out and do something extraordinary. I'm more interested in that. That's what all these little presentations I do weekly are about. That's what the breakthrough experience is about. It's why the value determination is there. Everything I'm doing is for that objective. And I'm certain that the principles that I'm sharing will help you. I've got enough track record, almost 50 years of teaching now, to demonstrate it. I've seen it in my own life, I've demonstrated it, and I know it can make a difference. So I hope this little presentation on increasing your deserve level to get what you want in life, which by living by your highest priorities and values, is gone in. Because if you inculcate that and put that into your life and pay close attention to it, and go online and do the value determination process, start the process of doing that, and come to the breakthrough experience, you can see it right here. If you want to master your mind and master your life, I've already got systems in place to help you do it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already in place. It's just a matter of following them. I've seen thousands of people apply them and make a difference in their life, and you could be one of those people. And I'm certain that I love helping people do that. I'd love to do that with you. I'd love to share with you the same thing I've shared with thousands of other people and help incorporate in my life. Instead of having to reinvent the wheel that I did along the way and do all the studies on it, you can stand on my shoulders and make it a lot easier than me spending 50 years of working on it. But just simply go to demartini.inc/BT22 and just join me. You'd be surprised what will happen if all of a sudden you spend 24 hours with me. I don't think we spent 25 minutes here, 30 minutes here. I had a few bloopers in the beginning, so it's probably 25 minutes, 26 minutes. And hopefully one idea stuck in there and it gave you some insight about what you want to start thinking about in your life, about priorities and self-worth and deserve levels and getting what you want. But I'm absolutely certain if you spend 24 hours with me, some of that's going to stick. And I'm going to make you actually go through and hold you accountable to apply some of these principles so you get to learn them, so you can now put them into your life and make them part of your existence and give yourself permission to do more. I've never seen anybody who gets up in the morning and wants to have less knowledge and less achievements and less income and less fulfillment in relationship, less social influence, less health and vitality, and less spiritual awareness. People want to expand. And I spent the last 50 years doing what I can to study all the great thinkers, philosophers, theologians, scientists, or whatever, to stand on their shoulders to try to disseminate that information. I'm not an altruist sacrificing for you. I'm not a narcissist sacrificing you for me. I'm somebody trying to teach you how to do something, and I want to win doing it by helping you. And one of the most fulfilling things I get is watching your lives change and getting rewarded for that, and helping you do the same and helping other people's lives change and getting rewarded for that. And I'm a firm believer that's totally doable and translatable and transferable. That's why I want you to come to the breakthrough experience and go online and do the value determination. So my topic today was on increasing your deserve level and getting what you want in life. I hope it made you think. Please take advantage of the opportunity to go online to do the values, and definitely come to the breakthrough experience. That way I can help you do even more with your life and do something extraordinary. So until next week, this is Dr. Demartini. Thank you for joining me. Please, if you got a value out of this presentation and all our other little programs we're doing here, these little webinars that I'm doing weekly, please tell the people you care about. If somebody popped in your head right now that you thought, God, I wish they could have been hearing this, listen to this, let them know about it. Contact them, spread the word, because it just might be the thing that makes a difference. And you helping other people get what they want to get in life helps you get what you want to get in life. So I'll see you next week. Stay tuned next week. Take advantage of the breakthrough experience and definitely do your value determination. Till next week.